Oh, it is. It is Wednesday episode, hump day episode of Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I am Alex Donno, taking you for the next hour or so. Gonna be a Dolphin-centric episode today. David, I don't know if I like this one. He says we should rename the show the Daily Mushing. We did a Miami Heat episode yesterday. What did the Heat do? They set a franchise record with 23 three-pointers. They put up 144 points, and they beat the Charlotte Hornets. That wasn't mushing. I was bullish on the Heat yesterday. The Heat got it done. I didn't talk very much about the Panthers yesterday for fear of mushing them, and they did end up having another brilliant come-from-behind overtime win, 7-6 over Toronto. It's like if you score 6 goals against the Florida Panthers, you're basically guaranteed to lose. So I don't know. I didn't do a lot of mushing yesterday. I haven't done a lot of mushing this week. Hello to Lewis Sung Sr. We love you, sir. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Of course, Lewis Sr. is the son of our great friend, Lewis Sung Jr., who's a contributor and an awesome one covering the NFL and the Miami Dolphins here for the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So, guys, let's get those views up today. Get in. Tell your friends we are live now. We're live virtually every virtually every day at 2 p.m. is what I meant to say. Occasionally, we'll do a 3 p.m. show. 2 p.m. today, my friends. And if you're in here, whether you're watching us live at 2:01 p.m. or you watch us via replay later on, do us a solid and smash that like button. Hit that thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. In about 14 minutes, we're going to talk with my good pal, one of the operators at finmaniacs.com. Brandon Liguori is going to join us. Dolphins are in the facility this week for offseason workouts. Even though Tua Tagovailoa was not the first guy in the building, all accounts seem to show he's doing all right. Everybody's doing all right. You know, within the last week, the Dolphins gave Xavier Howard a lucrative contract extension. They traded Devante Parker to the New England Patriots. And in my opinion, they still have some holes to fill on that roster. And that's a big thing that we're going to talk about today is with who, what, and where do you fill those holes? Do you do anything else significant or semi-significant in free agency as we're getting into the second wave of free agency now? Do you wait until the draft to do anything? And of course, keep in mind, you don't have first or second round picks this year from the Tyreek Hill trade. So you're sitting out until day 2. Do you target a certain guy that I want in day 2? We're going to find out about that. But before we get into the roster, I thought this was pretty interesting. Tell me, do you think this is a backhanded shot at Brian Flores? So Dolphins players, they're at the facility, they're working out, they're talking to the media this week. Xavier Howard is a very happy man. He's got 50 million new reasons to be happy with all the new guaranteed money he's getting. So this a tweet from Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald, who says, Xavier Howard said, quote, everything is different in the building now. Everybody is happy. Mike McDaniel is bringing that energy. And he says he and others are hopeful that McDaniel will bring the offense up to the standard everyone wants. And, hey, I'm sure for defensive players the last couple of years, you don't think the lack of offensive production has been frustrating? Like, if you're Xavier Howard, you're like, how many interceptions do I have to get for us to win a game? Like, you go back to week 1 last year against New England. I mean, the offense wasn't very good. Tua wasn't very good week 1. Xavier Howard made the plays, the interceptions, fumble recoveries to win that game. So it's got to be frustrating. If you're a defensive player and the offense isn't getting it done, that just makes your life more difficult, and it means you're going to be on the field way too much. I've had conversations over the years with Channing Crowder, former Miami Dolphins linebacker, and, you know, he played during an era, and there have been a lot of these eras in recent years where, you know, the Dolphins defense was clearly ahead and better of the offense. And it's frustrating when you're out there and the defense is making plays and you're making tackles and you're giving the offense short fields and they can't do anything about it. It gets a little bit frustrating, man. But honestly, when you hear and see X saying everything is different, everybody is happy, Mike McDaniel is bringing that energy, you got to wonder, like, if that was a backhanded shot at Flo. And if it was coming from X, that would be an interesting source for a backhanded insult, I should say, to Flo, because I thought like X was a Brian Flores guy. I thought that people seem to think that Xavier Howard was really a big fan of Brian Flores. And Lewis Sung writes in, "Oh, my bad. Did I say that he was your dad? You are his dad. He is. We are all each other's dad, Lewis. Good leadership makes all the difference," he says. "What's happening, Donno?" says the Finns tailgate. Our guy Chris, hit that like button, everybody. Yeah, guys, if you're in here, whether you're watching us live or you watch us later on, smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. All right, before we move on to some Miami Dolphins roster needs, I wanted to, if I can here, and hopefully you guys can actually hear this, okay? Have you seen there is a new message from Tuanon? The same Tuanon. This is the real Tuanon account, the Galluminati. This is the same one who has joined us live on this show multiple times. He has now put out a Tuanon guide to offseason success. He says, "We will combat the fake news narrative surrounding Tua Tagovailoa. We are Tuanon. Expect us." And they're also given to charity. As a part of our Giving Back initiative, we are proud to announce our first giveaway. See below. So let me play this video for you from Galluminati. And so he's actually giving out, guys, the instruction manual. And this is important in every walk of life, okay? Because if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you turn on ESPN or Fox Sports 1 any given midday. It's really frustrating when you hear people like Chris Long basically saying your quarterback can't throw it 3 yards down the field, right? People like Skip Bayless, who said Tyreek Hill should just retire from football because there's no point playing with Tua as your quarterback. And I think it's important, even from my perspective, where I am a Tua skeptic, I will tell you, it's okay for Dolphin fans to troll Tua because you keep it in the family. It's not okay for these media blowhards to do it. He is ours to troll. He is not theirs to troll. So here is, hopefully you guys can hear this. Hold on. Let me add this to the stream. The Dolphin head just makes me laugh. Here is a message from Tuanon himself.
"Dear Tuanon brethren, in light of the recent Chris Long feud and some of the other Tua slander done by the fake news sports media, we thought it was a good time to go over some of the ways you can combat the Tua doubters. You can use this as a method to win over new members. First off, you need to discredit the false Tua has a weak arm narrative. Show them the Titans' 50-yard throw to Waddle, the Jets' throw to Holland, the Saints' throw to Holland, and then come with the finishing blow and show them the 70-air-yard throw to Bowden that happened just weeks ago, practicing with quarterback guru Nick Hicks. Next is the narrative that Tua can't lead a team to victory himself. You must show them the 2020 Arizona game where he outduels Kyler Murray. This is the ultimate card to play in an argument. After defeating these two fake narratives, now it is time to play some offense. Attack them with hardcore facts. Point out that Tua is the most accurate quarterback on planet Earth. Tell them about Tua's clutch gene as seen in the Georgia national title game. Show them Tua's gigantic legs in his off-season workout videos. And lastly, point out that Tua was clearly sabotaged by former head coach Brian Flores. It is well known that Flores went to great lengths to sabotage Tua, such as starting Jesse Davis every game, seeking out other quarterbacks, and having 4 different people calling plays in a season. Tua has overcome this and will show the world how elite he is this season. With all this said, I would like to announce our first ever giveaway. We want to give back to our great and loyal following. We will be giving away a Tua Tagovailoa jersey to a lucky follower.
Wow.
All you have to do is retweet this post and make sure you're following our account. Keep up the good fight, and remember, we are always watching. We are Tuanon. Expect us.
By the way, so I'm trying to look at the photographs. So that is that Mike Tannenbaum with like the Satan goatee drawn on his face? I assume the one that's on the right side of my screen is Brian Flores. Who's the one on the bottom? Is that Julian Edelman? Like, I know, I'm just trying to think of who that is. Like certain players that have trolled Tua in the past. It's like, it's unbelievable. It's this guy's like a serial killer, but in the best possible way. Why is it starting to feel like Tuadon is becoming Fight Club? Like they're giving off Project Mayhem vibes, this Tuanon. Doug E. Fresh writes in, hey, I'm doubting that is a real dolphin. Honestly, it's a movie quality mask, if anything. You remember at the end of the movie Step Brothers when they both had the Chewbacca mask, like Chewbacca mask. Like John C. Reilly had like the really good quality one, and Will Ferrell had like the cheap rubber one. It's like, it's okay, mine's not movie quality. That's a good quality dolphin mask. You may be right; it may not be an actual literal dolphin there that's on your screen, but that is just unbelievable. It's just giving off Tyler Durden type vibes now. To and on. We are to and on. Expect us. Hello to Martina. Welcome in, and fins up to you as well. Tell your friends fins up. I see sometimes people in the like the YouTube replay comments be like, "Hey, do you do this every day?" It's the reason why we call it Donno Daily, my friends. Every day, usually at 2 p.m., sometimes at 3 p.m. So if I'm looking, I think biggest needs left on this Miami Dolphins team. I certainly think center and the right side of the offensive line can still be addressed. I think inside linebacker can be addressed, absolutely. And you do need a punter. Now, according to a Slater scoop, Andy Slater reported this. There is a veteran punter who's been visiting the Miami Dolphins this week. Dolphins have brought in longtime New Orleans Saints punter Thomas Morstead for a visit on Wednesday. That's today. I don't want Morstead. I want less Stead. I want Matt Ariza. Forget about bringing in this old veteran bum, Thomas Morstead. Oh, man, this is one of the rare times in the history of Miami Dolphins fandom where if the Dolphins, whose first pick this year is not until the third round, if Miami decided to spend their third round draft pick on punter Matt Ariza, who can probably punt it about 250, 300 yards, this guy. He averages like 52.6 yards per punt. If they were to take this guy in the third round, I would not complain whatsoever. I think he is that good. Now, maybe they'll end up going the veteran route with Morstead because they want to use their draft picks on other spots, but I would love to have Matt Ariza here. And I didn't start it because actually our guy Big John Stud started it, but I have gladly joined in on the Matt Ariza agenda and propaganda, and I have been championing this guy and singing his praises on this show and on social media every chance that I get. And then, okay, if we talk about the offensive line, the Dolphins have already improved the O-line overall pretty dramatically. When you add Teron Armstead and you add Connor Williams, the left side is solidified. I can't believe it that unless something has happened in like the last 15 or 20 minutes, J.C. Treader is still a free agent. This guy's still on the market. I can't believe nobody, Miami included, has snatched this guy up yet. 31 years old, spent the last 5 seasons with the Cleveland Browns. He wasn't released for performance reasons. He was released for financial reasons. And, okay, we look at certain other players that the Dolphins have on their O-line or just signed on their O-line, because, like, when you look at Teron Armstead, who, of course, is incredible, might have been the best overall free agent available in the entire class, regardless of position. But what do people look at with Teron Armstead and complain about? Oh, this guy gets hurt all the time. This guy misses a lot of game time. Connor Williams has had battles with injuries as well, the new left guard. J.C. Treader doesn't have any of those problems. He started 80 out of 81 possible games during his 5 years with the Cleveland Browns. So this is not a guy who's missed really any time, significant time due to injury. This past season, Pro Football Focus had him ranked the 6th best center in the entire NFL and the 2nd best when it came to pass blocking. So I don't exactly understand why this guy is still on the market. And I will be honest with you, based on what Chris Grier, the Dolphins GM, said at the league meetings a couple of weeks ago. And obviously, when GMs open their mouths, there's a pretty good chance they're lying because they have reasons. You know, when it comes to possible signees, there are reasons why you don't put the truth out there because it could hurt your leverage. It could hurt your bargaining position, right? If you do want to sign him, you certainly don't want to let people know, oh, yeah, we'd love to sign J.C. Tretter because that's only going to bump up the asking price. But Chris Grier made it sound like they're pretty happy with Jesse Davis and that maybe they'll bring in somebody to compete. But when you talk about bringing in somebody to compete, that doesn't sound to me like you're talking about signing a veteran who's started 80 of 81 possible games, because that's not competition. That's going and getting your starter. So when you talk about maybe bringing in competition, that sounds to me like you're going to potentially either, draft somebody who can play center late or, bring in like a lower tier free agent. So it didn't sound like they were prepping us for the impending arrival of a guy of JC Tretter's quality. But I mentioned second best pass blocker in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus, 6th ranked center overall. Michael Dieter, 28th overall and number 25 in pass blocking. And by the way, yeah, I just realized I did this. I said Jesse Davis when I met Michael Dieter. Forgive me. I still have nightmares about Jesse Davis. That was what we call in the psychological field a Freudian slip. So I didn't mean to. I said, oh my God, I said Jesse Davis. I meant to say Michael Dieter. So yeah, Dieter, 28th overall, 25th in pass blocking last year. JC Tretter, 6th overall at center, second best in pass blocking last year. So that would certainly be an upgrade. Rich V says they need a middle linebacker with a 3rd round pick. If not a punter, yeah, a middle linebacker. All right, let's bring on our special guest of the day. This man does an awesome job. FinManiacs.com. Brandon Liguori, our good pal. Brandon, how you been, sir?
How's everything been, Alex?
Doing pretty well. Aside from dropping Jesse Davis's name when I didn't have to.
How dare you, right? How dare you?
I still have nightmares about that guy being the human turnstile. Or are you relieved that Jesse Davis is no longer a Miami Dolphin?
I'm relieved that Jesse Davis is no longer a Miami Dolphin, and I'm even more relieved that Jesse Davis is no longer Tua Tagovailoa's right tackle as well. So, but hey, before we jump into this Miami Dolphins draft nuggets, how about the Florida Panthers? Right, another 4-goal third period comeback. If you're, I'm not a gambler, but if you do live bet the Florida Panthers pretty much every game, you can probably purchase a house by now over in, Coral Springs or Parkland. So
that's a great point, because like anytime you go into a third period down a goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, you bet on the Panthers, like you're going to get great odds on that. And like you said, you're probably going to be putting down the deposit for your second yacht, like by the end of the playoffs.
Right. But, this team has been it's been a fascinating team to watch. The most points in franchise history with 104, and they still have about 9 or 10 games to, left to play before the NHL playoffs. And they were also the first team in the National Hockey League to clinch the playoffs. So really, when you take a look at the Miami Heat and the Florida Panthers, now it's like all eyes are on Mike McDaniel's squad, right? Because everybody's juiced up. They've extended Xavier Howard, and he'll be here through at least the 2026 season, hopefully longer. They extended defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah, and now the NFL draft, with it being a couple weeks away, I'm super excited to see whom else the Dolphins add to this, exciting franchise heading into 2022.
Well, and let's start with a couple of the things I was just talking about. Because I still think that there are improvements they can make and probably should make on the offensive line. Because you've got your left tackle, left guard, completely secure, center, right tackle. I think Robert Hunt could end up being a good right guard, but center and right tackle at the very least. I'm looking at JC Tretter, who's still available. Maybe they feel like at this point he'd be too expensive because he'd probably want about $10 million per season, but. Right. Do you think they could still add him? Because I think Chris Grier has shown us there are plenty of ways to manipulate the salary cap.
Well, adding a veteran center really to Miami's offensive line, it's not really going to be a shock if they go that route. And if you take a look back at recent seasons, remember when the Dolphins had Daniel Kilgore at center. So the Dolphins are used to putting a veteran presence in the center spot. But I don't know if they're gonna, give the starting job to Michael Dieter. I mean, we've said it about 95 times now. This is a critical third season for quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. So whoever is at the center spot is, that's an important position in making sure you're properly snapping the football to Tua on a consistent down-to-down basis. So whether the Dolphins do turn to veteran J.C. Treader, or whether the Dolphins do look at, one of their 4 draft picks in 2022 in the next couple weeks, whether they maybe draft, a future center there, it's going to be really interesting, Alex, to see what the Dolphins do at that center spot. But, reports have been looming around that the Dolphins are likely to have Liam Eichenberg and Austin Jackson battle for the starting right tackle spot. I just wanted to, quickly get your thoughts on that. And, are you excited to see those 2 guys battle it out during OTAs and training camp?
The short answer, no. But at the same time, I've still got some hopes for Eichenberg. I would like to see him win that spot only because, one less year in the offense than Austin Jackson. So there's been kind of less time for him to let me down than Jackson, who's let me down for 2 seasons. Eichenberg only let me down for 1. I thought they moved him around the line way too much. He never really got to focus on playing one position. And hey, you can call this cliche, whatever, but offensive tackles from Notre Dame tend to do really well in the league. Like, you don't see too many offensive linemen out of that university bust out in the NFL. So I've got to think there's some hope for Eichenberg. And I can remember, doing the study that I did about him after the Dolphins drafted him last year. There was a lot to like, and I was really excited. Whereas Austin Jackson, we knew when he came out of USC, we knew that getting him, I think 18th overall is where they got him. We knew that might have been a reach because he was, even coming out of college, he was described as somebody with like a lot of raw ability, unreached potential. Maybe his NFL team will kind of get out of him what USC didn't. Right. He also had, an unfortunate health issue coming out of college. He donated bone marrow to his sister, and I think that kind of took a lot out of him physically. I understand that, even being the giver, not the recipient of that transfusion, it takes a heavy toll on the body. So that may have really affected him the first year. I don't even think all hope is completely lost for Austin Jackson because he's got the sort of build and the sorts of attributes when it comes to range and athleticism. I think theoretically he'd be a lot better in an outside zone blocking scheme than he was in whatever the heck we had the last couple of years. Like, that seems to fit his characteristics more. I just, sometimes to me, he just didn't really look there mentally, when in pass blocking, he was so poor. So I don't know. And let me turn this back on you. If you look at a big picture for the offensive line, Brandon, let's say hypothetical, they don't add anybody else significant. Okay. So let's say we head into next year with Teron Armstead starting left tackle, Connor Williams starting left guard. Let's say it's Dieter starting at center, Robert Hunt right guard, and then either Austin Jackson or Liam Eichenberg at right tackle. Would you feel comfortable with that offensive line next season? Do you think they've upgraded it enough?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously they, clearly have upgraded the left side of the offensive line. But I was listening to you earlier before you had brought me on, and you did mention that the Dolphins should probably address more of the right side, also known as Tua's blind side. So Robert Hunt pretty much being a right guard wouldn't really disappoint me as much. I think he did a pretty decent job during his rookie season this past year. It's really just going to really come down to what the Dolphins do at that right tackle spot and that center spot. But I mean, hey, the Dolphins, they had Jesse Davis out there, and they were rolling around with different centers this past season, and we're still able to win 9 football games. So if they're able to get it done, I mean, Teron Armstead and Connor Williams are pretty much going to be like the teachers, right? Like they're pretty much going to be like the NFL professors on that offensive line, teaching the young guys how to pass block and how to run block too.
We're joined here by Brandon Liguori from FinManiacs.com. Let me pull this back up here from Martina. She says, Jackson regressed horribly in his second year. And he wasn't very good the first year either, if we're being honest. But I guess he probably was worse the second year.
You also have to remember he is a first-round pick. So, you hope a lot out of when you draft a guy first round, like, for example, when the Dolphins grabbed cornerback Noah Igbinoghene. Still haven't really seen much of him. Saw a little bit of him during the 2020 NFL season. But if you take a look back at his tape versus the Seattle Seahawks, that was, that's probably a tape you probably just want to wipe out of his brain.
Now, I know that you and Hussam working together on Fin Maniacs, you guys are going to be putting in a lot of study for the 2022 draft in April. I have been fully on board with the Matt Araiza agenda. The Dolphins need a punter.
Right.
A generational-looking punter is coming out of San Diego State. What? What's that?
No, I'm saying I've said it more than once. This is not the first time that I said that the Dolphins do need a game-changing punter. I mean, they haven't really made a move yet on Miami's latest punter, which, to be honest, I had his name about 5 minutes ago, but now I can't even remember his name.
Oh, you mean the one from last year, Pilardi?
Correct. Michael Pilardi.
Yep.
Yeah. So they haven't made a move on him just yet. They haven't announced that they're going to re-sign him, and the team also hasn't announced that they're going to mutually release him as well. So I'm right there with you, Alex. I think the Dolphins should address the punting spot. You have to also keep in mind the team only has 4 draft picks after trading away one of their 2022 picks and Devante Parker to the New England Patriots, which we'll touch on that soon in a bit.
So, do you think hypothetically, using the number 102 pick on a punter, because that's what it might take. If you try to wait till the 4th round, he may not be there. Like, would you be okay with that, or would you just say no? Matter of principle, you never pick a punter in the 3rd round, never, ever, ever. Because I think I'd be okay with it.
I've probably been watching the NFL draft since I was in early to late elementary school, and I've probably never seen a punter get drafted in that mid 3rd round range. But I've seen this guy's tape, and I've seen when he played college football at San Diego State. I mean, this guy is a lethal game changer, and if it's going to take a game changing punter for the Dolphins to turn this franchise around and secure their first playoff berth since the 2016 regular season. Hell, I'm all for drafting a punter come third round of the 2022 NFL draft.
Yeah, I was joking earlier today on Twitter with Doug Lee Durong, who was hinting at how badly he wants the Dolphins to draft Araiza, and I said, if you don't draft Araiza, all the moves you've made to this point are just going to go to waste. Like, what's even the point? What's the point of adding Tyreek Hill? What's the point of adding Teron Armstead if you're not going to go out there and get the Lamborghini of punters in Matter? You talk about field position, baby. Right? We need to play that field position game. But yeah, on a more serious note, I wanted to talk with you about the Devante Parker trade, because there's a couple different schools of thought on it. A lot of people are like, hey, you know what? This guy was barely ever healthy, doesn't create any separation. Just happy to get even, a 3rd round pick, a future 3rd round pick in return for him. Doesn't really matter where we sent him to. Other people just say, you know what? You don't help out a division rival. They sent him to the Patriots. You don't want to help Bill Belichick make his team better. How did you feel about that Devante Parker trade?
So I was actually working when I heard that the Dolphins were going to ship Devante Parker to the New England Patriots. And really what first crossed my mind was, well, now, so you're saying that Patriots head coach Bill Belichick is now going to turn Devante Parker into probably the next, DeAndre Hopkins, because that's really what Bill Belichick does. He takes all the weaknesses out of you and he turns you into, the next David. So, I mean, you can say, and I did put out a tweet yesterday that, him not being able to stay healthy on a consistent basis during his 7-year Dolphins run, it was probably a bit frustrating to see that. But if you take a look at his breakthrough year in 2019, which did result him in getting a second contract with the Miami Dolphins, I mean, we saw the reason why the Dolphins took Parker in the 2015 first round, right? I mean, even though the quarterback was a veteran guy in Ryan Fitzpatrick, you saw those 50-50 balls. I mean, Devante Parker made it look very, very easy. He roasted cornerbacks like Stephon Gilmore and, just numerous guys during that 2019 season that really, if you talk to any Dolphins fan, that 2019 year in Brian Flores' first season was probably pointless because you knew the team wasn't really going to be, competitive in that AFC range. Really, you knew they weren't going to be competing for their first AFC East title since 2008. So the trade itself didn't really surprise me because of whom the Dolphins have brought over. Now you're adding a guy like Cedric Wilson Jr. You're adding probably one of the most speedy wide receivers in the National Football League in Tyreek Hill, who now you pair him with another speedy guy in Jalen Waddle, who's entering his second year in the National Football League. So Parker there in that equation felt like the odd man out. But I don't want, anyone to disrespect his game, because it's very, very hard to stay consistently healthy in the National Football League. I mean, you got now we're talking about 17 games being played, and not only that, the Dolphins had a very late bye this past season. So I think give him a huge amount of credit. I think he definitely earned his money when he was playing for the Miami Dolphins. And even though he is going to be staying in the AFC East, I honestly wish him nothing but, ultimate and positive, great success.
This is funny from Cliff. Our biggest needs are new owner, general manager, and QB. Oh, you know what?
Right now, hey, if Tua Tagovailoa leads his team to not only the playoffs, if he's able to escape with a couple playoff wins, I mean, he's really going to silence a lot of fans,
for sure,
a lot of media critics. I mean, that's why I'm so excited. I can't even wait for the 2022 regular season schedule to officially come out with the dates and with the times and where each game is going to be played. I mean, we pretty much already know who the Dolphins are going to be playing at Hard Rock Stadium and away from Hard Rock Stadium. But you have to be. I mean, if you're Tua Tagovailoa, are you even on social media as much during the offseason? Because a lot of these guys, they have more time on their hands, obviously, during the offseason than they do in the regular season. So if Tua's watching any of these, Undisputeds or ESPN First Takes, I mean, what is he really reacting to this news about, like how you had mentioned that Tyreek Hill should probably just retire instead of playing with Tua, since he was playing with arguably one of the game's best in Patrick Mahomes.
I feel like Tua doesn't even have cable. Like, he doesn't have he probably watches, like, I don't know, he probably watches like YouTube videos of like Disney movies or something. Like, he seems like a very clean cut family type of guy. I don't think this guy even watches ESPN and Fox Sports 1. I don't think he spends a lot of time on social media either. Why would he? Because he's got his trainer that tweets on his behalf. Like, his trainer fights people on social media, so Tua doesn't have to. Like, that guy, and I respect it. Like, I know, Nick Hicks, he's the type of guy, he runs the Perform Twitter account. People either love him or they hate him. Like, they love arguing with him, or it's also kind of creepy because I remember like a week ago, he said it. He made this announcement that because Tua videos get so much negativity that he doesn't want to give people the privilege of watching him train anymore. He's not going to post them anymore. And then I'm just like, all right, whatever, bro. But I read the comments, and like half the comments are like, oh no, the best part of my day is watching Tua workout videos. It's like, really? What do you do for a living? It's like the best part of your day. Oh my God. Every morning I wake up and I can watch Tua throw a medicine ball, or I can watch Tua allegedly throw 71 yards to Lynn. But if you take that away from me, I have nothing to live for. So, but the whole thing, but again, all this to say, I respect the fact that like he takes bullets for Tua. That way Tua doesn't have to take them. So I think I trashed the guy a little bit, but I think that's pretty neat. Did you, by the way, Brandon, did you see the video from Tuanon, who basically gave us the instruction manual on how to fight the trolls?
Yes, I did. I couldn't stop laughing at first. It just shows that I guess a lot more people around this planet Earth have a lot more time on their hands than most individuals. But yeah, I was able to check out the entirety of that video, and just really couldn't stop laughing throughout.
By the way, what did you think of X's new deal? I thought the way they structured it, I thought it made a lot of financial sense. Did you have any problem with him getting a pretty hefty raise?
Honestly, no. I think Xavier Howard is worth every single penny. I know Dolphins fans were screaming for him to be traded, I believe, after the 2019 season. Even the summer of the 2020, even the summer of this past season, when contract talks weren't really going anywhere between general manager Chris Greer and it's Xavier Howard's representatives. But it's crystal clear that the guy obviously wants to be in Miami. He said it I believe he was speaking to the media, I believe about an hour and a half or 2 hours ago. He said he wants to retire as a Miami Dolphin. He hopes to win a Super Bowl with the Miami Dolphins, and he also hopes to earn a Hall of Fame jacket, the Gold Hall of Fame jacket as well. So I thought those were very big, very bold words coming from really the franchise-changing player on the defensive side of the football. So no, really, I think the Dolphins working out restructuring Xavier Howard's contract, it made 100% sense.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And I'm so glad that they were able to keep him here and keep him happy because, again, they made so many great moves on offense. If they were to end up, failing to come to terms with X and trading him somewhere, then you would have taken like 2 steps forward and then taken a big step back.
Yeah.
So I think keeping that defense together, I think was really important. By the way, huge shout out and thank you to Shake Money. Thank you so much for the super chat. And wow, I guess I can go back to what I was saying about the Tua videos. Like for people who are like, oh, Tua videos are the best part of my day. He says Donno Daily is the best part of his. Oh my God. I mean, I'm getting a phone call, Marathon, Florida. Do you ever get these, Brandon, where it's like
I did everything. I did from Marathon to Jacksonville to Sarasota to Tallahassee. I'm honestly hoping that if I actually do answer one of these calls one day, it's probably going to tell me that A, I've either won $1 million, or B, I get 2 free Super Bowl tickets. So I'm
go watch Tua play in the Super Bowl this year.
Right?
That'll be what the tickets. But no, it's always like when I get most of the spam calls are from Marathon, Florida. I feel bad for people who actually live there because I know that there's houses in Marathon.
Right.
If you live in Marathon, anybody you call, they're not going to pick up because they're, oh my God, I can't pick up Marathon, Florida. So I feel bad for them, man. Oh my God. Okay, Brandon, where do you see the Dolphins now in the landscape of the AFC East, right? Because personally, I still think Buffalo are the best in the division until proven otherwise. The Dolphins, to me, have firmly passed over New England. Do you agree? How do you see the 4-team AFC East shaking out this year?
Well, the Dolphins have clearly, they've been above both the New York Jets and you really could say the New England Patriots as well. I think with the Buffalo Bills this morning locking up wide receiver Stephon Diggs, I mean, you take a look at that offense is very scary. And now on the defensive side of the football, bringing in former LA Rams, Von Miller. I mean, I think that the Buffalo Bills in general are just a little step over the Miami Dolphins, considering that this past season they also swept the Dolphins, winning both at Hard Rock Stadium and in Buffalo. But it'll be very interesting to see what new head coach Mike McDaniel and what this team can do, really, if they're able to compete against Buffalo this year, or if we're going to see yet another 2 letdown games against their AFC East divisional foes. But don't be surprised, though. I mean, if the Dolphins do, if they're able to split that 2-game season series against the Bills, sweep the season series against both the Jets and the New England Patriots, I'm excited to see what the Dolphins will do. This team is definitely a playoff team this year. If you were to ask me right now, as of April 6th, this team is definitely, if you were asking me April 6th, 2022, this team is definitely a playoff team. The main question is now, can they take that next step and can they win their first playoff game in over 20 years?
Now, you mentioned something earlier, and I hope this is the case. What's the narrative going to be like if Tua wins a couple of playoff games? Let's talk about the flip side of that. I want to at least entertain the hypothetical possibility that despite so many upgrades on his offense, that he still doesn't take the next step. What happens then? Like if people still have doubts a year from now, the way a lot of people have doubts today, do the Dolphins need to think about moving on, or do we go the Ryan Tannehill route again and just say, you know what, you get 7 years, buddy, you get 7 years to prove it?
Well, the quarterback class for 2023, Alex, is a lot stronger than this upcoming April's quarterback class. So maybe you can take a look at Alabama's Bryce Young. I know a lot of Dolphins fans aren't going to really, agree with me on that. You have
no more Alabama quarterbacks. I'm finished.
You have Alabama's Bryce Young, and you have Ohio State's C.J. Stroud. So if Tua Tagovailoa and this Miami Dolphins crew are not able to, A, secure a playoff berth, or B, earn a playoff victory, you might have to go a different direction because this guy was drafted, remember, 5th overall in the 2020 draft. I mean, the expectations were already super high when you're taking a quarterback so high in the first round. So again, a very, very critical third year for Tua Tagovailoa. I can't stress this more enough. This is just coming from me. I think this is a do or die season for Tua. And especially if he does get hurt again, a lot of questions are going to be raised around this Miami Dolphins front office too.
And also, man, when you're talking about the class of 2023, let's not sleep on TVD. I mean, if Tyler Van Dyke has the type of year that he had for like the second half of last year, then that he could end up being a quarterback.
We always have to throw in any Miami Hurricanes guy anytime we get the chance. Congratulations also on being the new host of the Locked On Canes podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, excited to see where you're able to go with that. So, before you know it as well, college football will also be here too. So it's close. It's close. I also do have some personal news that I would like to share.
Please.
So it's funny. My sister and her boyfriend have been dating since 2008. So I was in fourth grade. I always said that her boyfriend was really like the brother that I'll never have because I'm the youngest of 3. So yesterday she calls me around maybe 8:30, 9 p.m. and she was like, I need to get it's actually really funny how the story unfolded. She was like, I need to get your initial thoughts on this. And she goes like this and she shows me her engagement ring. So
oh, wow.
I thought that was awesome. So
that is congratulations. Yeah, congratulations to her and of course to you for gaining a brother. It's going to be official now.
No, yeah, appreciate it, man.
Dude, that's unbelievable, man. All my love and all the best to her.
Yeah,
and by the way, I want to bring this up to you as well here. Brandon Liguori from Fin Maniacs is with us. Devin Jordan says, Donno, did you see the Vegas odds for the Dolphins total wins at 8.5? He says, I might place $1,000 bet on this. That doesn't make sense to me because they won 9 games last year and the team looks so much better. Like, I don't understand how, and this is another 17-game season. It's not like they went back down to 16 games. I just don't see how I could justify betting even $1 of my hard-earned money for them to win 8 games or fewer when they've got a better roster now than the team that won 9 games last year. It doesn't make sense to me.
As long as if this isn't like a Los Angeles Lakers squad who grabs Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, and somehow, some way, they won't be competing in the playoffs this year. So maybe the Vegas odds makers are thinking that the Dolphins are going to win less than eight games this year because of all the talent that's surrounding them on the offensive side of the football. They might say it's a bit of a distraction. So. But we'll see. I think the way this team was, able to start this past season 1-7, win 7 games in a row to move to 8-7, finish the season 9-8, fire Brian Flores shockingly, was obviously not expecting that to happen. So if the total is set at 8.5, I would probably think that the Dolphins do win at least 9 football games.
Yeah, and I think think about it. I'm sure the reason why they set it low is because the AFC has just gained so much talent and virtually every team in the AFC has a really, really good quarterback now. So I guess that would be why, just because the competition in the conference has gotten better. But I still think the Dolphins are better than 8.5 for the over-under. I think 10 or 11 games. I think they're going to win this year. But huge shout out, my friend. Congratulations again to your sister and your family.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
that
it.
Awesome news. Awesome. And make sure you follow Brandon. You can see the Twitter handle there, Brandon R. Liguori. I like the fact that you have the artwork back in your backdrop. I was really upset the last couple times we had you on. You had no painting behind you. That was
I'm always moving in different directions of the house. So come on, you got to cut me some slack.
Of course, you got to have. I mean, I've got the throwback Gus Frerotte. That's my signature.
I like that.
You've got the hedge maze or whatever that is behind you, so it works. You make it work for you. Make sure you follow him, Brandon R. Liguori, and follow his work at finmaniacs.com. Brandon, thank you so much, man, and have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, likewise.
Good stuff as always. He tried to trap me, and he must be like a New York Rangers fan in disguise or something, because he tried to get me caught up in Florida Panthers talk. That was incredible last night. But Brandon knows this. He knows I'm the mush. He knows that the only 2 times I bet on the Florida Panthers this year, they lost games they were supposed to win. Whenever I talk highly about the Panthers, they go out and they lose the next game. So I try not to bring them any bad luck. I think it's okay if I let Brandon talk about them because I don't think he mushes them, but he's trying to get me caught up in like a whole Florida Panthers conversation. And you guys know the rules, right? I mean, I'm too much of a mush to get into that. My guy, Ray Grullon, thank you for the super chat. He says, howdy, Donno. Picturing our right side of the line will excel due to much better coaching. That's a fair point, actually. In closing, hey, Flo, you blow. The offensive line coaching is getting a lot better. I mean, you go from Lem Jean-Pierre being the captain of the ship, the offensive line coach last year. He's still on the staff, but he's third in command now. Matt Applebaum is going to be a lot better coaching that offensive line. I say the same thing about the Dolphins offensive line. I say it about the Miami Hurricanes offensive line as well. On paper, the Hurricanes football offensive line, it looks like it's going to be one of the weaknesses of the team. But with the coaching having gotten a lot better, I'm excited to see what they can do. I mean, the Dolphins went from Jean-Pierre to Applebaum. The Hurricanes went from the mess last year to Alex Mirabal, and also with Cristobal being your head coach. He's a former offensive line coach, former offensive lineman. He puts a lot of emphasis onto that group. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about both of the football offensive lines in town, the Dolphins and the Hurricanes. And again, Ray, cannot thank you enough for the super chat, sir. Goes a long way. Paul, hello. Tua will be the way he was in Alabama. He's got that sort of talent, right? Because, the last couple of years, everybody is saying like, hey, Tua, this is the case with Alabama quarterbacks, that Alabama quarterbacks, whether it be, going back, what was the one, AJ McCarron, the one who played the national championship game down here, whether it be AJ McCarron, more recently, Tua, Mac Jones, you can always say, well, when they're playing for the Crimson Tide, they're throwing to 5 stars. They're throwing to 5-star receivers, 5 stars all along the O-line, 5-star running backs. Alabama's always loaded in their backfield. And so, yeah, you take them out of that situation, put them on an NFL team, which doesn't have 5-star talent at every position. They're going to suffer for that. But you know what? You basically are putting the type of skill position talent around Tua, including literally one of the guys he used to throw the football to at Alabama. He's got that caliber of player now in the pros, right? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, still got Mike Gesicki. The running back core is getting a lot better with Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert, who's got blazing speed. You got now a 5-star type of left tackle, Teron Armstead, one of the best in the business. So let's hope that the Alabama Tua, surrounded by talent, comes out this year as well. I agree with you, the show, hoping they're not done building the O-line. JC Treader is still out there. It's been a month, and that guy is still available. Maybe they'll find a way to get it done. All right, let me remind you guys, best ways to support the show. We've gotten a couple of super chats today, which we appreciate. You don't have to give us a super chat if you just want to use the free chat. By all means, if you do want to leave us something in the chip jar, thank you for that. I'm all over the place today mentally. Woo! All right, so if you want to leave us something in the super chat, we really appreciate it. Something you all could do, which takes a second, is smash the like button. Hit the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to our channel, 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. And guys, make sure you support our sponsors. And this is stuff you need in your life anyway. If you're looking for a place to bet on sports, we have an official sports book, America's favorite sports book, fully available in Florida, by the way. You want to bet NBA games, you can do it at betus.com. You want to bet NHL games, international soccer games, betus.com. When football season is officially back, it's going to be here before we know it. betus.com is the spot. And guys, we have the best bonus in the industry. So if you want to bet on sports, you want to do some gambling, get some action, you should use betus.com because they've been around for 30 years, trusted by their clients for 3 decades now, guys. And we give you the best bonus in the industry. When you sign up at betus.com with our code, you see it there on the screen, 5RSN125. Type in 5RSN125. Write it down if you think you're going to forget it. 5RSN125. They're going to give you a 125% bonus. If you deposit $100, they give you $125 of free play money on top of your deposit. In addition to betting on sports, including live betting on all of it, parlays, props, everything you can imagine, you can also play in their full casino. It's like having Las Vegas in your pocket. Blackjack for real money, slot games, table games. So make sure you use the code 5RSN125 and sign up at our official sportsbook, betus.com, where the game begins. And yeah, we have an official sports bar as well. In about a week and a half, we're going to have a Heat playoff watch party out there. Dates and times to TBA, of course, but the playoffs are going to be here 10 or 11 days from now. We're going to be having playoff watch parties at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill in Davie. Guys, this is my spot. Great place to watch every game. Great place to watch UFC pay-per-view fights, by the way, because they have them for no cover charge. Locations all over Broward County. The seafood is so delicious. I love the fresh mahi-mahi. I love the fresh tuna and salmon. The poke bowls, the sushi are so good. The burgers and sandwiches are elite. The All-American Burger will change your life. It is so good. The jerk chicken sandwich is awesome. The baby back ribs are really good. The Quarterdeck is a great place to wet your whistle. They got 2-for-1 happy hour all day, every day. I knock down those 2-for-1 margaritas on a regular basis. So whether you want to hang out, grab some drinks, watch a game, or go out for a nice meal, the Quarterdeck is your spot, my friends. If you want to find the location nearest to you, they're all over Broward County. Visit them on the web at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. See what else we have coming in here on the live comments. Devin Jordan, thank you so much for the super chat. Tyler Hero has got to be a lock for 6th man of the year. Oh, that's already set in stone. Tyler Hero is a lock. He's going to win that award. Unfortunately, Bam Adebayo is not going to win Defensive Player of the Year, so I think Tyler Hero is going to be the award that the Miami Heat takes this year. I've been holding Brooklyn Rob's Quarterdeck gift card hostage. I'm just glad you made it, Brooklyn Rob, because he mentioned he was in the live chat before the show started, and he said he's got to work today. He won't be able to watch the show live. Yet here he is. The dedication that Brooklyn Rob has, that's the type of dedication I want Tua Tagovailoa to have. Brooklyn Rob, unlike Tua, always first in the building. Even when he's going to miss a show, he's still going to pop into the live chat to let me know. That's what you call an excused absence. You remember when you were in school back in the day, you played hooky. God forbid you played hooky from time to time. You had to bring some kind of a note, right? Otherwise, it's an unexcused absence, and nobody wants that. So you had to, maybe one of your friends had one of those hippie liberal parents that, I don't mind, bro. You want me to sign it? Say that you had a doctor's appointment. I'll sign it. You forge it yourself, but you had to have some kind of a note for an excused absence. Brooklyn Rob had an excused absence today, and yet he still showed up. Donno, the new show name is Daily Fraud. Are you trying to get blocked, David? Because I do have the power to block anyone in the live chat. He did say, I actually like this better. The Daily Mushing, I prefer. We're trying to get the mush reliable enough where you can literally bet the opposite of anything I say. But the problem is I've been winning too many bets lately. So I'm a little bit mixed on that. He's in an attic watching this. I love it. You in the crawl space? Okay, this is a good question from Kane's 1989. And it's an appropriate question because as Brandon Liguori mentioned this, and I mentioned this on yesterday's show, I'm now the host of the Locked On Canes podcast. It's a daily podcast we put out every single morning on the Locked On Podcast Network. Please, by the way, guys, as much as I know I beg for a lot of things, like who is this guy in the 5 Reasons Sport hat? He's asking us for favors all the time. I ask for a lot of favors. Every time I do this show, I ask you to hit the like button. I ask you to subscribe. I ask you to support our sponsors. And I'm also asking you to support my other gig, which is hosting daily Miami Hurricanes podcasts on Locked On Canes. And it's really cool that Canes 1989 asked this question because this is something I'm actually going to be covering on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Canes because Athlon Sports predicted 9 wins for the Miami Hurricanes. Honestly, I outside of the Texas A&M game on the Hurricane schedule, every other game is a potential victory. I think the only game that's like virtually, I'm not going to say unwinnable because nothing's unwinnable, but Texas A&M on the road is the toughest game on Miami's schedule next year. Outside of that, I think that it's possible they could win all of their other 11 games. So I think 9 wins is too low. I'm thinking 10 wins, not including the bowl game. The bowl, who knows? The bowl game could be an 11th win. I'm thinking 10-2 regular season for the Canes. And I'm thinking, 11-6 for the Dolphins. Yeah. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, my friends. Oh, and I didn't even see that he answered this. He says, I say 11 or 10 for the Dolphins, 11 or more for the Canes. I think the Canes, being real here, they're probably about a year away from that. I think they could win 10 games this year. I think 11 or more, because 11 or more, that probably means you're in the college football playoff, right? I think they're a year away from that. For as good as Tyler Van Dyke, the receivers, the running backs, the tight ends are, offensive line could be a problem. There are spots on the defense that could be shaky. The linebacker group has a lot of proving to do. Hopefully DJ Ivey isn't on the field too much because that guy's a liability in coverage. I think Miami could give up a lot of points, score a lot of points. But yeah, I think that the Hurricanes will be around 10 wins. Dolphins should be around 11 wins, I think. Shake Money says, you host Locked On Dolphins. I'll be the first in line. I appreciate that, but subscribe to Locked On Canes as well, man. Oh, man, I love it. Let me throw some more shout-outs before we get out of here for today. Brooklyn Rob says, how come the Locked On podcast is not in live video? So we're going to be adding that, Brooklyn Rob. It's Locked On, like it's everything. It's a very I'm going to say organized setup that they have there. And I just launched the podcast, the audio only version, less than a week ago. They're building my YouTube channel right now. And I'm told that at some point next week or early next week, the YouTube channel will be ready. So we're probably about a week away from doing the Locked On Canes show live on YouTube as well. Ray Grullon says, let's pray Tyler Van Dyke stays an extra year. Then again, I think he'll jump to the NFL. The kid, Ray, I'm not even worried about that. Like Jake Garcia is probably as good as Tyler Van Dyke. So if Tyler Van Dyke balls out this year and leaves, Miami's in good hands. Jake Garcia looks incredible. So I'm not even worried. Like the Hurricanes are so stacked in the quarterback room. Even if TVD does leave early, I don't think that's an issue. I really don't. I just mushed the Canes and Fins, David said. Oh, how dare you. Perfect Q. Thank you so much. Yeah, they did host Thomas Moorhead. He says probably should sign him. Don't want to go into the draft with an obvious hole. Well, okay, so sign him. Then you draft Ariza, and then you cut Moorhead because Ariza is the punt god. How about that? Shake Buddy, thank you again. Indade, thank you again for tuning in. We appreciate you guys so much. Can't thank you enough for tuning in every day. Again, Canes 1989, thank you. A good question you asked there. Brooklyn Rob, even though I thought he wasn't going to be in today, he still gets in. Devin Jordan, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, EJ says, Donno, is there something on your beard? Honestly, I don't know. It's getting a little bit long. I might have to trim it soon. But I don't see anything. I don't see anything obvious there. Could have been like a glimmer of light off the camera lens or something. I don't know. The beard looks to be somewhat in order today. Martina, thank you so much. Tony, 2 times, thank you for tuning in. The show, thank you so much for watching today. David, even though all David does is try to get in here and cause me grief, I still love you. You and Brooklyn Rob, you guys are awesome. Paul, thank you so much. Hopefully we get that Alabama Tua. My guy Ray with the super chat. Howdy, Ray. Wrist froze. That's an interesting username. It is playoffs or bust, though. I agree with that. George. I love how George, and this is always welcome on the show. George just pops in to troll Tua. If you guys are offended by that, get a life. Tua can't even throw the ball farther than 20 yards. I mean, he can, though, George, is the thing. Like, I appreciate the trolling, but I did see him throw a pass more than 50 yards in the air to Mac Hollins last year, so he can do it, okay? I still love your sentiment nonetheless. Martina, thank you so much. Cliff, nice seeing you in here. Man, he is not happy with Dolphins management. Shake Money, thank you so much for the super chat and for the kind words. I appreciate it. Our guy Chris, the Finns tailgate, says Chris Greer has maneuvered this team. So if Tua does work out, we have capital to put into making a Super Bowl team. If he doesn't, we have capital to move off of them and find a quarterback that can. I agree. I think that organizationally, the flexibility is very, very good. Dolphin Don, thank you so much. Feels bad for Jesse Davis. Ian from Brooklyn, thank you for checking in. We appreciate seeing you here. Josh Allen, quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, is in. How about we move Eichenberg to right guard, have Hunt right tackle, and develop Austin Jackson? I don't even know, like, how long do you develop somebody for? Like year 3 for an offensive lineman? Is that still maybe it is? And honestly, I think Hunt at right tackle. The thing is, I think Eichenberg is definitely better, I think, at tackle than guard. Hunt, I think, could play either, but I don't know. To me, I think Hunt at right guard and Eichenberg at right tackle probably makes more sense to me. But I'm splitting hairs there. Doug E. Fresh, thank you for tuning in. Dolphin Don, nice to see you in there. Rich V, I agree. Inside linebacker is another priority. That's another big-time team need. No question about that. Lewis Sung Sr., father of Lewis Sung Jr., thank you so much. And that might be it. I think we hit everybody today. If I missed anyone, my apologies. We try to shout out everybody we can. I don't do it on purpose if I skip you. It's not out of malice. The only people I skip are the obvious Russian spammers, but I haven't seen any Russian spammers in here recently. They might be more focused on the chaos going on in and around their country. That may be what they're doing these days. So, yeah, we appreciate you guys. And again, make sure you hit the thumbs up button on the way out, smash the like button, subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports YouTube if you haven't already. Support the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Go out there, have some sushi, have a sandwich, have some baby back ribs, knock down some 2-for-1 happy hour, quarterdeckrestaurants.com. And make sure you sign up at America's favorite sports book, betus.com. Full service sports book available in Florida. 5RSN125 is our code. That's going to get you a 125% sign up bonus. Oh, hold on. One more comment snuck in. Hello, Steel Merrick. Thank you so much for tuning in and for and Alex M also sneaks in the end. Thank you so much. Yikesonberg. All right, we're going to talk to you guys again. I may have something I have to do tomorrow. I will keep you guys updated. I want to do a show badly tomorrow because we already have Joe Frizzaro scheduled to talk Marlins opening day. So hopefully we will talk to you tomorrow. Even if I don't talk to you on this show tomorrow, I will definitely talk to you on tomorrow night for another episode of 5 Rounds where we talk MMA and boxing. We're going to be previewing UFC 273 tomorrow. So one way or another, I will talk to you tomorrow right here on either Donno Daily and or 5 Rounds on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Looking for the outro. Hold on. Here we go. See ya.